Send perfect. Yeah, it's really nice because we were told by Comcast, you know, I pay for up to 100 megs, and so I was like freaking out. I was like, I don't know if that'll be much, or if that'll be enough. And now every time I run it, it's like a consistent 180. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm paying for, but I'll take it.
Like, you bitch so much. They're probably like, oh shit, we better.
Yeah. The downside though is that I only get about 10 to 12 ish up, and so I'm worried that'll interfere with streaming a little bit. It's been good so far. There was a tiny bit of lag yesterday. I'm pretty sure that was on YouTube's end though, because I was checking out the recording of the stream and everything's smooth. So I'm not sure. Welcome everyone that's joining us, by the way. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Yep. We'll give people a couple more seconds to get in here, and then we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff today. We have a ton of stuff to talk about. It's been just a huge freaking week, guys. It's been really crazy. Why'd you time him out, Junior? Why'd you hide him? Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So we can go ahead and probably start looking at stuff. So just kind of like a. Oh wait. Actually, let me tweet out. Because that's what professionals usually do. Okay, and let me get... I promise I've done this before.
First time.
Did you buy the Game Informer article?
I did not, no.
It's good, man.
I figured I'd get all my info on Skarrow9's channel.
Boom. It's actually pretty cool. So you can do a free like trial of it and get it for free. And you just have to cancel after like 14 days. And it doesn't like require any credit card information or anything. But
oh, that's not too bad.
Alrighty, yeah. Can you unhide Darkseid then? Is that possible? I don't know. Whatever. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start. So, guys, new setup. Remember, if audio is too loud, if I overpower Jay-Z, let me know. I can readjust the levels. I'm sitting a little bit closer to my mic than I'm used to, but I don't want to touch anything for fear of messing everything up. So, yeah, what we are going to be doing, we're going to be going over very quickly this week at Bungie because it doesn't seem like it is too lengthy, and then I'm going to go through the Game Informer article, and I'm going to we're going to discuss all the major changes that I've pretty much made videos over everything, but I do want to, of course, hear your guys' thoughts and hear Jay-Z's thoughts and all that, so we're going to go ahead and go through all of that. Alrighty, so the first thing, of course, we know Future War Cult finally won a faction rally. About damn time. It's pretty funny. It took them so long. Called it through and through. New Monarchy has had the least amount of participants for both of these. They are pretty much guaranteed to win the final faction rally. The thing that I find very interesting is more, like a higher percentage of people actually pledged to Dead Orbit. But Future War Cult took just crazy steps in the number of ranks earned, which is really interesting. These graphics that we've been getting here, super helpful. Bungie needs to keep that up because it's awesome. That's fantastic. So let me know in chat how many of you guys were Future War Cult, how many of you guys weren't smart and went somewhere else.
Well, I mean, how many of those Dead Orbit ones you think are people that either didn't do the first one or didn't finish the first one, got to level 50?
You're absolutely correct on that. I guarantee at least half of them like pledged last time, but didn't do it. And then you know, there's always going to be that section that doesn't know what the hell is going on, and they're just like, Dead Orbit's the best, and they don't know about doing the rewards and stuff. Yeah, Forcer says, is Bungie ever going to tell us anything about Solstice of Heroes? Well, it starts in 3 weeks. I imagine it's got to be next week. They have to start telling us about it. Like they actually just kind of have to. But yeah, third faction rally is in 2 weeks from 2 days ago. So it's in a week and a couple of days, 5 days. Pretty much everyone needs to go New Monarchy. I think because of the way they structured the rewards, it's gonna work out like that anyways, which is I actually find really cool. A lot of people don't like that, but I think it's cool. Here they just talk about they're taking Gambit to Guardian Con. Really awesome stuff. Guardian Con every year does amazing things. It's really cool that they're able to do this. And it actually looks like they are doing a huge Gambit tournament between a lot of the big content creators. And it's going to be commentated on by Dr. Lupo and MTashed, which is, I think they're going to be streaming it. So I'm definitely going to be watching that because that sounds like it'll be really fun to watch. And that's pretty exciting for sure. Yeah. Alrighty. So the next thing, this is just talking about the Game Informer article. Of course, like I said, we will be going over that later. If you guys do want to kind of follow this yourself, so the article does cost some money. In chat, I'm going to post the link to the kind of main hub where they put a bunch of free information. So like today they went over each of the 8 barons and kind of the lore backstory behind them and what they all are. It's really awesome stuff. So that's free. If you want to look at the article to get all of the in-depth information that I've made videos on and that kind of stuff, it is, I believe it's $4.99 or something, maybe $2.99, somewhere in there. But if you are brand new to Google Play and Google Newsstand, you can actually do a 14-day free trial on it and get the article for free. Super simple to set up. So I would recommend doing that and giving it a read because it's very, very awesome information. Yeah. So we have all of that. Now, this is pretty much the only information. Sorry, JC, I know we're not having a lot of discussions here just yet.
No, it's all good.
We'll get there, man. I promise there's plenty of information. So here's kind of the information that is going to be pertinent in the TWAB this week, and then we'll move on to the Game Informer stuff. So it says, last week, Joe Blackburn took some time to set expectations on the upcoming Prestige raid layers. Since then, we've been fielding many questions about the world's first race. Will we have one? Can the release of each raid layer be staggered to offer multiple races? Luckily, Joe's here to answer the burning questions. And Joe says, hey everybody, I just wanted to swing back around to give a quick update on some of the changes to the Prestige layer launch plan. Based on player feedback and to ensure each world's first race has a clean start, we are changing the release times of each activity. Eater of Worlds will receive a 1-hour delay to ensure players have ample time to download and install Destiny to Update 123 once it becomes available. And then Spire of Stars has been delayed 24 hours to offset the activity releases. The following times are when each activity becomes available. So Eater of Worlds will be at 11 Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern on July 17th, and then Spire of Stars will be 10 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern on the 18th. Unfortunately, I don't think our team's going to be able to partake in either of those. I mean, I'm sure Jay-Z alone works both of those days, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I do.
so, and they're activities I already have, so they're not really worth like the taking the time off and that kind of stuff. So we'll definitely be doing them those nights. So like the 17th, I'll make sure everyone's available to do that. You play basketball on Mondays now, not Wednesdays?
Yes, Mondays.
Okay, cool. Are you're free on Wednesdays usually?
Yes.
All right, so we'll have to work that out with Josh and everyone, but I definitely want to make sure that we get to them like the night that they release, and it shouldn't be too late, like 5 o'clock Eastern, so just a couple of hours after they launch. But I'm very excited about it. They said that the first week was more of a kind of introductory thing where they're more simple mechanics and combinations of like modifiers and the loadout and that kind of thing. I'm super excited for it personally. Anything to challenge us, anything to push for more rewards, and any reason to jump back into the raids is always super exciting for me. Even just that dumb ghost shell was just the most exciting spark of excitement for me, and I'm definitely excited to see what all they do with these. Yeah, are you like Jay-Z? I know you've got to be like as hyped as me because you love both of these raids, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited to see if they do anything close to Leviathan as far as like change the mechanics up and stuff like that, because I think they did a really good job of separating the Prestige and the normal Callus raid. So hopefully that it's on par with that, which is kind of scary for the Spire. But yeah, I think we'll do fine, just because if the mechanics aren't that much different, we kind of already have those down. So.
Well, I mean, the mechanics aren't changing at all. It's just the loadout and the extra modifier thing.
Oh, that's it? They're not adding any... Okay.
No,
okay,
yeah, they said that when they were imagining these raids, especially Spire, but it applies to Eater too, they wanted the most full version of the encounter. I guess it's kind of like how, like with Oryx, you know, they said that they built it around heroic mode and then subtracted a mechanic for each of them, and now that became the normal raid. They just didn't subtract anything for these.
Okay, I figured that's what they were doing, because that's what they did with Callus too, is they built it around that. So I think I think it's a good move. I'm very interested to see, and one thing they really want to double down on is this right here, actually, the statement. He says, I quickly want to reinforce that the Prestige raid layers are much more about week-to-week variety and less about a singular pinnacle challenge, but we are still excited to have the chance to watch the best of the best in community sprint to the finish on both of these activities. And then he says, DMG really wanted to spill the beans on week 1's weapon loadout and modifier combination. I'm not that nice, but I'll give you a couple clues. The first week's modifier is brand new. It's called Arsenal. It's weird, and that's all I'll say about it. As far as the curated loadout goes, I can only give you one little advice about one slot. I've been looking out from my time-warmed Spire, and I feel an autumn wind blowing. So it sounds like it is going to be kinetic pulse rifles. Pulse rifle, yeah.
Which is easy. I can run Ragexes first week. There we go. I already win, but it's very interesting. Like I'm so very excited for this. Oh yeah, sorry. The point I was bringing up. So the thing about Prestige this time, you know, especially with like Prestige Leviathan, it's like once you do it once or twice, why the hell would I ever go back in there? And I think the whole point of them only giving you one 400 power level weapon per completion. And really trying to enforce you need to grind this, and that is the only way to get 400 level weapons. So you're going to need a bunch of completions to get each one of the weapons right. Is to really enforce the idea of they want these raids to be replayable, which is awesome, especially because, like I said, prestige activities traditionally don't have the replayability of normal activities just because they generally have smaller loot pools, especially in Destiny 2. So I'm excited for this. I think this is a fantastic move. I'm very, very excited about this. And
yeah, especially for like because, you know, we have our main team and then we have some guys, you know, that we switch in and out. And a lot of them get bored really quick of the content. So maybe this will keep some of those guys interested for longer, so we can actually, you know, run out more of these raids on a longer basis.
Absolutely. And the fact that it is the only way to get 400 light level is you know, I'm really hoping it gets people really interested in the raids, because people in our clans, you know, if they don't want to do raids, they can still hit maximum level. You know, they can do Iron Banner, they can just play the game, do weekly milestones. This eliminates that, which is really cool. And like Cal Mermaid said in chat, that means you have to do at least 3 prestige completions if you want to be 400 light. And I mean, that's absolutely correct. And that's if RNG's on your side and you get a 400 level drop for each of your main weapons in those categories. More than likely, you're going to have to do 6, 7, 10 to really get the specific weapons that you want to drop, which is really cool. And then in addition to that, of course, you have the catalysts that only come from Prestige, the Legend of Acreus from Prestige Leviathan, the Telesto from Eater of Worlds, and the Sleeper Simulant from Spire of Stars that only come from there. And then you have the ornaments, but you only have to do it once for the ornaments. But that's so cool. Forster says, we're going to make you admit Telesto is a good exotic, even if we have to forcefully match you with Cammy. Nah, man. Nah. Yeah, but if Pulse Rifle's the first slot, you have to think it's the first week. They're trying to make it kind of easy. I'm sure they'll do something. There will be a twist in there. So maybe like a Pulse Rifle and then like an energy sidearm and then like a sniper rifle or something. They're not going to go super... Did you say something, or was that a beep in my headphone?
That was a beep in your headphone.
Okay, I thought you went. I thought. Nope. Oh yeah. You can see it down here. But sorry, I was like, what the hell did Jay-Z just do? I think there'll be one curveball in there. I don't know. He says that the modifier's weird. it would be really cool since it's called Arsenal. If you have to have like if it's like the what is that, the modifier Prism, where it changes elements every 30 seconds, it'd be really cool if Arsenal made it so you have a specific weapon out every 30 seconds and that's all you can use for that, or something, or maybe just like your kinetic and your elemental, you can only use one of them at a time and you have to consistently switch or something. I think that would be really cool.
Well, for Eater, that I don't know how that would work on the boss battle unless you had to like time when your power weapon was out and then do the damage. That's
a good point. That's a good point. I don't know. We'll see. Morgan Maddie says, Skarrow, serious question. Will prestige raids always drop a guaranteed 400 drop, or is it random? Can you farm it, or will it only drop one a week like normal loot? So at the completion of each prestige raid, you have to beat the final boss. You will get one 400 light level raid weapon. At any of the raids, you can drop any of the weapons. So like how the Midnight Coup only comes from the Leviathan normally, you can actually get the a 400 light level Midnight Coup from Spire of Stars or Eater of Worlds, or vice versa. Any of the weapons can come from any of the raids. You get one per character, like I said, only on completion, and so that means you, with 3 characters, 3 prestige raids, because Leviathan has this applied as well. That means you can have 9 400 level drops max per week. It's kind of like you can farm it, but not really. Jay-Z, what's like the cap? What becomes farming? Like how many times? Is it like if you can do something twice a week, it's not like you're not farming then. But if you do something like 9 times a week, does that
10 to 12 weeks?
12.
I would say. Well, I mean, because like I'm a farmer. Like I love farming in games, and it's like sometimes it takes 100 times to get something. I hope it's not quite that, because it's going to be tough together for 100 runs on something. But like maybe 30% of the time you get the drop. So I don't know how many runs that would equate to, but.
Right,
yeah.
But just to clarify, because he is talking about percentages, keep in mind as he's talking about that, it is a guaranteed drop once you complete it. But he's talking about something else, yeah.
Well, I mean, to get all your major weapons that you want, to get that slot up to 400, that it's going to take quite a while. So. Right.
And then Cyanide Tasty asks how you get 400 light armor. We don't know yet. Presumably something with Solstice of Heroes or something else. Calamerme is saying that Leviathan does not drop 400 light level loot. I am fairly certain it does. I think we went over this last week. I can look it up real quick. I'm fairly certain that they said that they do though. I swear he said it. I swear. Yes. How many prestige raid activities will be active each week? All of them. If you want to play all 3 prestige raid activities each week on 3 different classes for a maximum exotic catalyst and 400 power weapon farm potential, go for it. 3 prestige raid activities on 3 different classes. So he's very obviously talking about Leviathan, Spire of Stars, Eater of Worlds. So it will definitely drop 400 weapons, it looks like. Good. Unless they've clarified that somewhere else. If that's not true, he worded that terribly. But yeah, okay, and right here, the only way to get 400 power armor before Forsaken is by participating in the Summer Solstice event. There you go. Yep, it does. Based on that statement, it does look like base Leviathan can drop 400 light level, unless I missed something. Yeah.
No, it sounds like it to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's unlike, like I said, he would have had to word that hella weird for that to be wrong. Alrighty, guys. Let's see. So the time's changing. And then, this is very interesting. Pyrotechnics. It looks like we have some Crucible changes. We are talking to Kevin Yanes, and he says, "Hi, everyone. While some of us at Bungie are off on a holiday to celebrate our country's independence, we wanted to make sure all Guardians in Destiny 2 had something to celebrate. Starting this Friday, 7/6, so July 6th, tomorrow at 10 Pacific or 1 Eastern. And lasting through the weekly reset, players may earn 3 times Valor rank gains in all Valor supported playlists. If you want to nab that exotic ghost or are looking to finish your Crucible ornaments, this weekend is the time to throw down in the Crucible. We hope you have fun this weekend and maybe take a dip in the Mayhem playlist where you can celebrate all of your own brand of fireworks. That's really interesting that they're throwing that in there. That's actually really cool. I'll probably be doing that because I'm so close to that exotic ghost. I wanna grab it. And yeah, so that is the complete This Week at Bungie. We are going to hop over to the Game Informer now, so I'm going to leave this right here. I can't show the Game Informer on stream because I'm 90% sure they could sue me for that because it's a paid product. I'm going to read directly from it, though. So, and we can talk about it. Or I'm not going to read the entire article, obviously. I'm going to pick out the parts that we are notable, and we can talk about them and have a discussion, obviously. But I do want everyone to know from this point forward, everything is from the Game Informer. I dropped the link in the description to the main hub, or in the chat a little bit ago for the main hub. Arlo, if you could do that again, that'd be great, or one of the mods. And if you guys really like, if you want to reference any of my videos from the past couple of days, we'll have it in the description because I've been using information from this article as well. So it is there for you to get if you're interested. I recommend it. But yeah. Welcome everyone in chat, by the way. I see a lot of old faces. People freaking excited for Forsaken. Welcome. Here we go. Can we copyright strike Game Informer? I hope not, because they're awesome. I just want to make sure I'm not showing it, right? Yeah. So the first thing I want to talk about, the new subclasses. Jay-Z, have you read about these?
Yeah, I actually watched your video on them.
Oh, okay. So they're very interesting. I'm going to do a quick recap of all of them. I'm not going to read them word for word. So the Sentinel, you essentially get a shield that it sounds like it's going to be a bigger barrier of light, not just a regular shield, but like an actual wall. And people can't shoot through it, but your allies behind you can. So I think that'll be really interesting. And what our friend Killer, you guys might know him if you watch our raid completions. He's a pretty core, or he is not a pretty core, he's part of the core raid team. He brought up a really good point. It says here, holding guard creates a barrier of light that absorbs enemy attacks. So does this mean, because we can shoot through it, that if you're doing something like the Valkyrie strategy with the shotgun where you're right up in his face, can you have a Titan activate that? And that'll eliminate all knockback and stuff. So he can't kick you off and it'll absorb the rockets and that type of thing. Yet we are still able to shoot through it and damage Valkyrie. If that is the case, that would be super interesting. That would help a lot with a lot of things. If you could have a Titan pop that on Argus and the Taken Harpies couldn't get you. If this is the case, that type of thing. Just things to think about, especially with the prestige raids coming out. If you are limited to X weapon and it's not really that detrimental to lose a player, it would be very interesting. Of course, once this doesn't happen until Forsaken comes out, that's just an example of where it could apply in the game, but it's still like it's like a good idea.
Yeah, I think I've been waiting for something like that. I was hoping that the bubble in Destiny 1 would do something similar, but you couldn't shoot from inside of it. So
I always thought there was going to be an exotic for that.
Yeah. Yeah, something that augments the bubble or changes it to that. Yeah. So I'm glad that they finally have something like that to where you can kind of tank a boss's damage while shooting through it. So it'll be nice because then you can throw some rifts behind it and whatever and.
Yeah. Also, guys, as we're talking about these, let me know what you guys think about each of the different subclasses because. Once again, this is a discussion, very interested. So Sentinel sounds pretty cool, especially because, you get the thing where you melee people, you apply like a detonator to them, and when you shoot them, it blows up. That's really cool. I love that they're, one theme here is that they're being very creative. When you look at some of the subclasses in Destiny 2, a lot of them are kind of cut and dry, especially if you look at a subclass like, let's just say Golden Gun. There's nothing very fancy about it. It doesn't have any crazy perks. It just is just a traditional gunslinger, and that's really it. But you look at all of these subclasses, they all have something very, very unique and very creative about them, which I love. The next one's Sunbreaker, the melee, so they get their own type of throwing knife that you can pick up to start regenning health. And then you also, of course, get the giant hammer that you can melee people with. And whenever you slam it on the ground, it creates fire tornadoes. That's, once again, creative, insane, awesome. Striker, Code of the Missile. I'm not sure how impressed I am with this one. The melee just makes you dive. It's a death from above, like in Destiny 1, but it's your melee instead. And then Thunder Crash, we've all seen it. It's kind of like a flying Superman crashing jet thing. It's not too great. So out of the 3 Titan ones, Jay-Z, which one are you personally most excited for?
I would say probably. Well, I mean, I always prefer the Solar Titan, so probably. I don't know, like maybe the Thunder, just to see it, like just to play with it, to see if it like homes in on people. They all sound fun though. Like, to be honest with you, like
yeah,
it's gonna be tough to pick one until I actually get my hands on those, because I kind of have ideas on the other 2 classes or other 2 races of which one I'm gonna like the best, but this one it's kind of up in the air until I actually get, because there's so many different mechanics that for each one.
Yeah, and I guess we don't exactly know each of the perks. Like, we know what the melee does, we know what the what their kind of quirks, but you're right. There's a lot that we don't know yet. And plus, like, we knew about Devour, but even in the beta, no one was like, Devour's overpowered. You know, it really takes time to play and kind of synergize and stuff. I think Sunbreaker right off the bat sounds the coolest. I'm a huge fan of throwing knives. Sunbreaker is my go-to PvP class. Put 2 and 2 together, I think it's going to be awesome. But like Jay-Z said, right now it's just speculation as always. So for Warlock, you have Voidwalker, which of course, you know, you get the... I don't know if you guys have seen the kind of clip, but you charge a grenade like Devour right now, and you throw it, and someone did it with a scatter grenade, and where the scatter grenade would kind of like usually like fall to the ground and blow up, it super quickly just blew up into 4 pieces and seeked out different enemies, and they all just like, they just scattered instantly. It was so fast. So he pulls up the grenade and he throws it, so he started to devour it, and then he threw it, and it was like vroom, and it hit all the enemies around him. It was super cool. It'll be really interesting to see how quickly you can deal damage with that. It's very interesting. And then, of course, you have the Nova Warp super, where you teleport around, and then whenever you might have to activate it, it might be when the super runs out, we're not really sure, you shoot out an area of effect and you kill things. My main thing with this one, I was a little bit disappointed that it still seems to be kind of like a one-time usage area of effect. I think it'll be a lot more competitive in PvP now, especially as like a leading super. I just kind of wish there was, maybe while you were teleporting, if you pass someone, like if you teleported like through someone, it at least did a little bit of damage or something. I think that would be really cool. But
or stunned or blinded them.
Yeah, that too. That would be insane. Yeah, if you... That's actually really cool. If every time you teleported, you did like a mini shockwave, and so everyone in the room was kind of stunned, and then you could kill them all. That would be really cool. Exotic idea, Bungie.
There you go. Yeah.
Then Stormcaller has the attunement of control. You can consume your arc bolt or your grenade. You make an arc bolt. We already know that. And then you do the Chaos Reach, which is kind of like the everyone's been saying, like the Dragon Ball Z laser. Pretty cool. The coolest thing about this subclass, once again, they're getting creative, is you can cancel your super early to not, to reserve some super energy. So this happens to me all the time, especially like when we're speedrunning Nightfalls or something. I pop a super and I'm like, oh, this is a great place, and then all the enemies are dead, and I just have to kind of like walk around with my super for a bit. But now with this one, you cancel it early, and you get your super back sooner, and you can use it in places where it actually should be used and that kind of thing. So I think that's awesome. And then finally, Dawnblade, the main thing is the Well of Radiance, where you create a giant rift, and it both heals and empowers your allies. And then, of course, like your melees burn enemies and heal your allies, and grenades can heal your allies as well. So out of those, I think the Voidwalker looks the coolest, but I'm not sure which one is going to be the most effective. I'm very interested in this one. I think Stormcaller has a huge potential to become a big PvE super, but we'll have to see. Jay-Z, your favorite is the Void one, right?
Absolutely. So I love like Warlock's been my main in both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. Right now, I use Sunbreaker in PvP, or not Sunbreaker, Dawnblade in PvP, which is way better than I thought it was originally, especially with the changes with the speed and stuff like that. And then Voidwalker in PvE. So now Voidwalker is going to be, or the Void one is going to be by far my favorite one, just because I think it'll have a lot of PvP potential, and maybe even some PvE potential. But the the Dawnblade class, that with the big healing and damage rift,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be like it's going to be an essential to have one of those on your team in every raid or high end activity. Like, just, I mean, like your whole team can probably stand in this thing.
Oh, easily, yeah.
And be like, plus that, and can you wear the Lunafaction boots with that? Does that count as like a normal rift?
Oh, that's really interesting.
Because if it does, and you can wear that, that's going to be just ridiculous. Because you'll have so much area that you can kind of cover.
I mean, that's a really good point, because unless you're doing the kind of Nova Bomb Telesto strategy, Warlocks are always the classes where you don't really use your super during damage phase. Like, sure, you can use Dawnblade and do a little bit of damage, but unless you're using Nova Bomb, like, you're not gonna pop a Stormcaller during like Eater of Worlds damage phase or anything. So that's a really good point.
And what I really like about all three of these new subclasses is they're finally turning the Warlock into what they promised, into like a mage character. Because like they kind of were, but not to this extent, to where like you've got your healing and damage class, you've got your you can shoot a beam across the map class, you can teleport, you know, because Warlock's the only one with blink, but like you blinked into a Nova Bomb before, so now you can actually blink around the map and, you know, kind of kill people. So it'll be fun to actually play the Warlock as originally intended, in my opinion. So
no, absolutely, I agree. I love, especially something they've done in Destiny 2, is they've really centered the Warlocks around like grenades and melees, like especially with Devour, and you're absolutely right. Like with this, they are 100% doubling down on that. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. Let's see. Next one is of course going to be the Hunters. Night Stalker, by far my favorite. Oh, I hope that's not too loud. Victoria just got in the shower. I really hope that's not too loud. The Night Stalker. JZ, can you hear that?
No.
Okay, cool. Because you're through the same mic they are, so you'd be able to hear it. So Night Stalker, the only thing I'm not interested in is the melee. It's still the smoke bomb, and it quote-unquote heavily damages and slows those in its path. I have never liked the smoke bomb. It always throws when I'm trying to melee someone. It's annoying. So that kind of sucks. But whenever you get precision kills, you can see through freaking walls and go invisible, which is overpowered as hell. And then in your super, you can see through walls and go invisible, and it's just as powerful as the OG Blade Dancer. Just gross. It's going to be disgusting. I've been saying this for the past couple of months, but I will continue to say it. This is going to be like the competitive PvE or PvP class. Absolutely. Then you have Gunslinger. This one is probably, we don't get a lot of information about this. I said this in my video. It's kind of unsettling because this one seems like it'd be really cool and the most themed to the new expansion. And we don't get a lot of information about it, which kind of sucks. So your knife trick melee, so whenever you melee, instead of throwing one knife, you throw out a fan of blades, which is pretty cool. But how much damage does it do? If you hit someone with more than one blade, can it one-hit them? How well can you aim them? That type of thing. And then your super, you expel a volley of explosive knights. And when they say volley, it does make me think of like, you know, one after another, because it's kind of what a volley is. But once again, they don't expand on that. What are the perks in your super whenever you activate it? Do you throw out a whole bunch and then you can continue on your way? Do you only get 3 knives like in regular Golden Gun? There's a lot of questions with this one that they don't go into. And that really sucks, because this is one I want to be very excited about, but I'm not sure if we can be yet. And then Arc Strider, this one's super interesting. they do a lot of things like you have a staff-powered uppercut as your melee, which is really cool. The most impressive thing to me is you can use your super as normal, but you do this thing called Whirlwind Guard where you reflect bullets and stuff, and then your super does 3 times as much damage. So as long as this doesn't take 2/3 of your super time, this is doing more damage than either of the other subclasses, and that's already after Arc Strider is by far the kind of most damaging super when paired with stationary bosses and Raid and Flux. Very interesting, and that's another thing. Does Raid and Flux work with this? There's a lot of questions to answer here, but very, very interesting. So out of the hunters, I've already said Night Stalker's my favorite. Which one are you most excited for, Jay-Z?
I would say the Void one, but that's interesting with the Golden Gun one with the fan. Like if you could like pop it, say like 3 times, but it shoots like a fan blade, like blades all around you. Like that would be kind of cool for ad clear and stuff like that. It would turn more of a PvP class other than like Celestial Nighthawk, but does that pair with it too? Like so you shoot like super powered like one set of blades, or I don't know, but like so that
that would actually that's an excellent question. That is
Like,
okay, sorry.
But I mean, like, because they're class specific exotics. And
what if you did just get one knife and you just throw it at a boss and it's just super crazy damage? That'd be crazy.
Yeah, but like, is it going to be as powerful as the one Golden Gun Blast? You know, that's the question. Like, so it sounds like from just, you know, from hearing it, it's going to be more of a PvE like class or like subclass out of that one. But again, like, get our hands on it. But the Night Stalker definitely seems like the most powerful one, especially PvP wise, which will be nice because now it's all Arc Striders and PvP. So it'll be nice to see. Although I don't like smoke grenades all the time, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm pretty much everything you said. Yeah. I'm worried about the Golden Gun. I'm worried about how powerful the Night Stalker is going to be, and I guess we'll see, man. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, because I mean, Destiny 1, the Night Stalker was so overpowered there for a while that like that was all anybody used. Like you never saw anything else other than Night Stalker and PvP. So, like, even PvE, really, because, like, you wanted that tether on everything.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll see. Like, I hope they don't make it too overpowered to where you don't want to use anything else, because the diversity is always good in Crucible and PvE.
Absolutely. Yeah. Alrighty. And then the final thing about that I really want to cover this stream is just so interesting to me. It is the Dreaming City. So the main thing that we learned was that the Dreaming City is actually, it's got kind of like, if you guys have seen Stranger Things, it's kind of got an upside down. It's got a negative version of it that you will purposely go into sometimes or sometimes be sucked into, and it's a taken version of it, and that is so cool. So the Dreaming City is the size of Nessus, and there are so many secrets. Half that, or I say half, but we weren't given a number. Some of which that you can only activate or get to by going into this negative taken version of it. And then as the weeks go by, the taken curse or contagion or poison or whatever you want to call it, it spreads and it gets worse and worse. So what I'm thinking, he said this is directly caused by the players. So I'm thinking this is kind of a theory I've been formulating, is that in the center is the castle, and we know there's something there. I mentioned in my video today that a lot of people are thinking it's an Ahamkara, and so whatever it is in there, I'm thinking it's kind of keeping the Taken at bay. However, we're going to go in there during the raid, and we're going to kill it, right? And so, if it is keeping the Taken at bay, they're going to start creeping in and getting more kind of control over the area because we killed the thing that's holding it back. And the more players that kill it, and we know there's a ton of bosses, so maybe that'll kind of go into it or whatever. But the taking's more and more and more, and then they said at the end of the 3-week cycle, there is a special engagement, a special endgame thing for Pinnacle players, and I'm thinking that there's going to be this is just me. It's a lot of it's hopeful thinking, but with how crazy they've been going with this DLC, I would not be surprised. So say it's an Ahamkara, or say it's just a raid boss, and we do kill him over and over again, and the Taken get more and more control. If the Taken eventually get to that raid boss, they're going to take it, right? And so maybe at the end of the 3-week kind of rotation, we get a Taken version of the raid boss, and it's tougher, and we get, like, limited time rewards or something. I think that would be so sick. I can't think of any other reason that the Taken would be generally kind of just creeping their way forward, and how we would have a direct impact on that if we're not killing or destroying the thing that is keeping them out. That makes a lot of sense to me. Do you have any other theories on that, JZ?
No, that makes a ton of sense. You know, because if you remember when they redid Prison of Elders and they kind of turned some of the bosses into Taken, that type of thing. So I could see them doing something similar. It'd be kind of cool though, seeing like, and if they had like new attacks or, you know, things like that, but it's just, you know, the boss only in Taken form, or sub bosses even, like all the sub bosses would change. And yeah, I think that's about as good of a theory as any until we actually get our hands on it.
Right, yeah, and Kalarmeme, I just butchered his name, but everyone gets it, said, no, it's Uldren. Uldren's not going to be the raid boss. They already said that it's directly linked to the story, but not in the traditional regicide kind of way, where we fight Oryx, we fight him off, and then he's the raid boss. They already said that is not happening. So we can pretty much say for a fact that Uldren is not the raid boss. I'm thinking, my original theory that it was going to be something with Marasov, but now I'm thinking Marasov actually died, and that Prince Uldren, as this whole time, and Ahamkara has been kind of abusing that and getting to him to get more power. And so, or maybe free him, maybe this dragon's trapped in the castle or whatever. And so, Prince Uldren goes there, or we kill him and we get access, and quote unquote, the thing in the castle is whispering to Prince Uldren. And we got that directly in a quote somewhere in here. And which is, what else in the Destiny universe is associated with whispering? There isn't anything. It is the Ahamkara. That's all we know of that does that. Maybe the hive worms, but we just killed one of them. Why would they do it again? And we do know there's a strong relationship between the hive worm gods and the Ahamkara. They also used a dragon metaphor in the Game Informer. I think that's a little bit looking it too far into it. I think it was supposed to be a metaphor. I don't think the Game Informer got to see the raid boss, but I did, you know, that's always a possibility. I think it makes a lot of sense. It is the hardcore players that play the game the most want to see an Ahamkara. We know the Awoken have ties to them, and overall, it would just make so much sense. It looks really cool. I think it would be awesome. We'll have to see. We'll really have to see. But I think that would be awesome, especially if there was like a Taken form of the Ahamkara, and it's like a giant dragon fight. Like that'd be so cool, right? That would be so really cool.
Well, I mean, if you think of most RPGs, like a lot of them end their games on that type of like fight, like a big, huge dragon type character. So it'd be awesome to finish the raid on something like that, but not just like obviously not a traditional dragon, but you know, something like that would be awesome. Right,
and it makes sense if they're ever going to introduce the Ahamkara. It makes sense that it's going to be. I mean, this destination is the most Tolkien-esque destination we've ever had. It looks exactly like an elven city from Lord of the Rings. It's got a freaking castle in Destiny. It's blue skies, awesome mountains, full of gold and royalty and that type of thing. If we're ever going to see space dragons, they would be here. And they're whispering to Uldren, or something is whispering to Uldren. And I never even connected my thoughts with Marasov. I think that at the end of the day, that Marasov concept art we saw and all of that, it's going to turn out to be like I don't want to say like a hallucination, but like a mind trick, sort of like Luke in The Last Jedi, where it's a projection.
Spoilers.
Whatever. Wow, Jay-Z, it's been almost a year, man. Let it go.
Really? It's been 6 months.
6
months? It was in
December. December, yeah. Well, it's June. Whatever. No, it's July even. I don't know.
End of December.
And whatever. If people haven't seen it now, they're not going to see it. They don't care. Plus, like, whatever.
It was a very good anyway. So yeah.
But so I'm thinking like we're gonna see her at some point, maybe in the end of the raid, and we go towards her, and then it's just like a giant ass car, and he's like, "Tricked you, mother chickens," and he's gonna kill us or try to kill us. I think that'd be awesome.
Well, they do like to do that with bosses, to where they show you something and then they pull something different out.
Yeah.
You know, at the last minute. So I could see him doing something like that.
Yeah, I think that would be so cool. Man, I'd be so excited for that. But yeah, the Dreaming City also has a bunch of other stuff. So like I said, there's kind of like the negative spaces of it where you have to go to the Taken side and access certain areas. There's portals that connect to different parts of it. And then there is a new escalation protocol type place called the Blind Well, I think? Yeah, the Blind Well, which is, quote, a vast cathedral of an arena where 3 to 6 players can confront a new take on wave-based fights like Court of Oryx and all those. The arena gets shrouded in poison-taking gas except for the places you are allowed to fight in, and as you work your way around the arena, you get more and more real estate to fight in, and it all culminates in a boss fight where you have to utilize those places you defended to take out the boss. That sounds awesome. I really hope we can fly in there with 5 of our friends. I had 6 players, right? Surely we can fly in there with our raid team. That only makes sense. I really hope so. But it sounds really cool. I love how they're expanding. I mean, the public space events have always been a huge hit. Even when like Court of Oryx is arguably the least popular, and there were still people doing that every week. People loved it. It's always a really cool idea. They might not necessarily go exactly how Bungie expects it, especially with like Escalation Protocol, you know, where fire team of 3 are supposed to do it or whatever, and obviously everyone wants to get 9 players or whatnot. But they're always a huge hit. They're always a ton of fun, and I'm really hoping this one, especially with the aesthetics of this area, I'm really hoping that this one, you know, carries on that tradition. I think that'd be really cool. So all around, I mean, so with the Tangled Shore and being its own destination, being a big destination, and then the Dreaming City being the size of Nessus, it's insane, Jay-Z, to me that we're getting 2 full-size destinations with this DLC. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, isn't Nessus is the second biggest?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure just behind the EZ.
Earth.
I mean, Nessus is huge.
Yeah, so that'll be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. Like, I love, you know, just exploring. So, you know, because they made, that's one thing that they did better than Destiny 1 is they made all the patrol zones just beautiful. So if they tie this one in with the raid and with everything else, it's gonna be awesome. I'm super pumped to just find all the secrets in it.
Exactly, and they said you're not gonna be able to find them all right out the gate. They're gonna take weeks and weeks, and that's just awesome to me. And the fact that we can't even go to this destination until you complete the campaign, and then even then there's gonna be higher leveled enemies, and it really is just enforcing the idea that end game is Destiny, and they're really doubling down on it. They're doing a very Borderlands-esque approach, where a bunch of the area is locked away until after you complete the main campaign. And then if you want to play, Borderlands isn't the campaign. It is the farming. And Forsaken is not going to be the campaign. It is going to be the farming and the more powerful and getting just all of these awesome weapons and doing these activities that, you have to be very conscious about what you're doing and how you go about powering up and stuff. I am just so excited.
Well, I think over the last 2 to 3 years, you and I have talked numerous times how we wished Destiny would incorporate some of the Borderlands type, things into it, but still make it its own. And It seems like that's what they're doing. So you've got the awesome gunplay, the raids. Because Borderlands, they did some raids, but they weren't close to as fleshed out as what Destiny, because they were just raid bosses. So you went through an arena and you got to the boss, you could just skip by all the enemies, and there wasn't any like puzzles or anything, and most of them there were ways to farm them by yourself. So this is exciting that they're taking some of the end game that we've always wanted, like, you know, hardcore players like you and I, and they're now like making that the focus. They're making the hardcore players their focus. They're all the people that stuck or are sticking with the game. You know, obviously everybody takes breaks here and there, but they're finally taking those players and saying, here's the game that you guys wanted for 5 years now. Enjoy. And I'm super pumped and super hyped to be a part of, you know, to finally see that come to realization. So I'm excited. I couldn't be more pumped for this DLC coming up.
100% agree. 100%. I mean, I don't want to keep reiterating over how awesome I think this is, because I know a lot of people, maybe that the more casual people aren't going to think so, but I think this will be the most positively accepted expansion to Destiny to date. I think that would be pretty hard to argue.
You think it'll beat Taken King as far as, because I mean that.
From what I've seen and what I personally feel, Warmind beats Taken King. Taken King is very rose-colored glasses. Like you're looking back on it in nostalgia, and obviously vanilla Destiny 1 was not in a great place. You know, and House of Wolves and Crota Zen didn't do much to help that. I think Taken King was the first step to putting it back on this road. I mean, in my opinion, Warmind is Destiny 2's Taken King. It's not, you know, it's obviously not as big, but we have just as many raids. We have just as much content, easily more content than we had during the Taken King. And I think Forsaken's just gonna, it's essentially like a whole new game. Like, yeah. It's insane.
So I'm a little partial to the Dreadnought. I thought it was a really, it was kind of drab as far as like visuals, but like some of the scenery was pretty sweet. I just loved that as a whole, and like the whole story behind it, and like how it, you know, it might be rose-colored glasses, but like I thought Warmind was a close second to Taken King as far as DLCs go, and this one seems like it's gonna blow it out of the water. I think what will separate this one from Taken King, Taken King was trying to cater to both crowds. This one's
and this one's just hardcore. I love that.
Yeah, and the other thing is Taken King reset the whole weapons, everything. Like all your weapons from year one were pretty much useless, other than like casual Crucible.
Right.
This one you can bring everything over, and they're adding all new weapons, random rolls, everything. So like a lot of these weapons will go extinct because, you know, you're gonna find better versions of them through random rolls, but at least you can use everything and utilize everything from, because I mean they even got rid of exotics from year one.
Yeah.
And they slowly brought some of them back. But
that kind of worries. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, where it worries a lot of people, that exact thing. You know, with Taken King, with a clean reset, it's easy. You know, you have to find the new powerful weapons, but what's going to stop me from using my Rage X's? What's going to stop us from using the Icolo shotgun, that type of thing? And that makes me more excited than anything. And I absolutely agree. Like, they just have to. I mean, even with the Taken King, like the new subclasses were awesome. They were insane, but they're nothing compared to what we see right now.
I mean, because they're not going to add a fourth subclass, so that they're adding tiers onto your existing subclasses.
Exactly. Skarrow is too fanboy to admit Warmind is nowhere near as good as Taken King. That doesn't make any sense, though. That's not true. Even from an objective standpoint, Warmind brought more to the game, and then from a subjective standpoint, Warmind brought more to the game. Like, it's just like there's heavier grind. You have the exotic catalyst, so like nothing in Destiny 1 could even touch the catalyst system. You have all of the hidden stuff in Mars, and Dreadnought was cool. I agree with Jay-Z where he says it was kind of bland and boring at times. How much brown can you use? You know? That's my problem. Huh? What?
You forgot green.
Yeah, and green. Yeah. It's like there's only so much you can do. Whereas if you go to Mars, there's oranges and blues, and it's just fucking beautiful. But, you know, the Dreadnought, there was a lot of cool scenery. You have the Vala Cool. Strike, the what's it called, Darkblade, where you're going down the bridge and you see all the prisons. That's awesome.
And all the pods and
exactly. Crota's Ascent, or Oryx's Ascendant Realm, also very cool. But I mean, there's so much like
even the raid I thought was beautiful, like especially like the ship's part, like just if you just stopped and looked off in the distance, I thought it was really cool just seeing, you know, the stars and like just the way that they set it up. So like there was ugly and there was beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's weird. It's weird putting like encounters like really that look really awesome, like Warmind, and then like Golgoroth's maze right next to each other. Because one is just so bland, but that's one thing Warmind doesn't have to worry about. Like every aspect of Destiny 2, like there isn't a boring environment in Destiny 2. I give EDZ a lot of crap because once again it's a lot of green, it's a lot of brown, but even EDZ is beautiful. It looks really good. That was just. That's, you know, there's a lot of things that go into making an expansion great. Obviously, theme and aesthetics are one of them. Taken King had a great story, and I'd say the one thing Taken King has over Warmind, in my mind, is the lore behind it. Warmind felt a little bit rushed, but once again, that's almost by design. They were focusing more on endgame activities. And what did you have in Taken King to do? You had Trials of Osiris. Wow, what do you freaking do? The same thing you had from the previous expansion, right? You had a raid that was pretty good. Arguably, you know, rivals in difficulty for Spire Stars ish. I mean, Spire Stars is very clearly harder, but you know, the arguments could be made and that type of thing. But like I said, you had no end game grinding for anything like catalysts or anything like that. There were no ornaments at the time; they didn't even exist yet. There was trials and there was the raid, and that was it. But
you could pick your Crucible game modes in Taken King.
Wow. Yeah, no.
I'm sorry, I had a little cough there.
That's fair. I'll give you that one. But with Destiny 2, just overall, in every arena of the game, there's just so much more to do. I mean, even if you just take like Court of Oryx and Escalation Protocol, they're very obviously very similar, but Court of Oryx had 3 bosses that rotated, and there's no unique stuff from Court of Oryx. You got 335, sounds good to me, artifacts from Court of Oryx, and that was all it was used for. It was meh. But Escalation Protocol has some of the most unique guns ever. Hell, the Warmind expansion has the most broken guns in Destiny history. The Ikelos shotgun, the Ikelos sniper, both outdamage the Gallahorn. Period. The Sleeper Simulant is more interesting in Destiny 2 than it was in Destiny 1 because of the multiple ricochet splinter effect. I've already brought up exotic catalyst like 8 times, so I'm going to do it again. They expand on the exotic system more than anything. You also have to keep in mind, Taken King introduced 3 of coins, which destroyed the grind for exotics, right?
Yeah, but they also introduced fusing your weapons together too into each other to up the light. So here's my take on this entire thing is we've given Bungie a bunch of crap for not learning from Destiny 1, and I think that Vanilla Destiny 2 didn't learn a ton from Destiny 1, but
Warmind did.
Yeah, every subsequent thing they've released since then, whether it be
maybe not Curse of Osiris. Let's not go that far.
Well, I'm talking, but like they added whatchamacallit, the catalysts in Curse, didn't they? Or they added the not the catalysts, where you could drop orbs of light from your weapons in Curse of Osiris,
right?
On double kills, like stuff like that. But I think they're taking everything that they learned from Destiny 1 and making it better. So, like, you know, Escalation Protocol could be compared to Court of Oryx in that they're similar. Like, you go through a series of things and then you fight a boss. But they learned from it and they added more bosses, added a tougher competition, you know, things like that. So, at least they're taking things from Destiny 1 and expanding upon them, and making them better.
And that's why I like Destiny 2 better. I mean, here, even to this comment right here, Arlo says, I weighed up this way, what was more fun to play, Warmind or Taken King? Definitely Warmind. I mean, even though, like, Jay-Z says, like, yeah, you could pick your Crucible mode in Destiny 1, why did it matter? There were no rewards in Crucible in Destiny 1. You had random rolls. Awesome. You could get that perfect IS Luna, whatever. Destiny 1 will always have that over vanilla Destiny 2 forever. but you have rewards in Warmind for Crucible. There was nothing for Crucible players to do in Taken King other than Trials. But you have the Raedrixes. If you're a quick play guy, you have that amazing Ghost. You have all these things to chase. If you're a strike player, you have all of these strike catalysts. You have the strike specific stuff. I guess Taken King technically had strike-specific loot as well. Yeah, it did.
That's when skeleton keys were introduced, I believe.
No, skeleton
right
keys
after.
weren't until Rise. You also have more consistent events. During Taken King, that is the longest dry spell in Destiny history. Warmind, there is no chance of a dry spell. We've had one event in Warmind. I was gonna say two, but I guess Crimson Days was right before it. Then you also have faction rallies, which you didn't have in Destiny 1. Iron Banner, in my opinion, is more fun in Destiny 2. I know that's not necessarily a majority opinion, but that's all right. We can agree to disagree on some things. But I mean, even in your own way, saying which one is more fun to play, Taken King, like I said, you had Trials, you had the Raid. Destiny 2, you have the entire game. Even Patrol has meaning in Destiny 2. And all of these kind of things. So it's going to be personal preference, but I will always be of the mindset where if you're saying that Taken King is more fun, I mean, hell, in Taken King, like, you couldn't even do the other raids, whereas in Warmind, you can do the other raids. They matter. They get you up to light. There's reasons to do Eater of Worlds and Base Leviathan, whereas in the Taken King, why would you ever do Vogue or Crota? Like, there's no reason for it. That type of thing. Warmind brings replayability, it brings freshness to the content, and it is more designated towards hardcore players, which makes it more fun for me personally. And there's a variety of factors that would make people disagree with that. Maybe they're more casual, maybe they are more heavily hit by nostalgia. I'm not a nostalgic kind of guy. I look at everything as from a now kind of viewpoint, very objective. I try to be in that kind of way, but yeah, it's all right to have different opinions. I don't really see the justification in that one, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think I'm more nostalgic. Obviously, I'm nostalgic of things, and I think to me, or not Rise of Iron.
I mean, even in my mind, Rise of Iron is better than Taken King because there was more shit to do.
I liked Rise of Iron better for not better, but I liked Rise of Iron had its own, like, I like the patrol zone in Rise of Iron. It was pretty sweet. But like Taken King was really where Destiny came out and became what we had hoped, I think, and that's kind of why I'm nostalgic about it, because it brought new players to the game, and it solidified the people that had been sticking with it from year one. So, and I think this DLC is going to do the same exact thing that Taken King did for Destiny 1. So that's kind of...
I definitely agree, but I don't think this DLC is going to do anything that Warmind hasn't done. I think it's just going to double down on it.
I don't think a lot of people have, like...
given Warmind the chance?
Yes, and I think people are going to come back for this DLC and not Warmind, and then realize that, hey, we missed a lot of stuff with Warmind.
We missed out on all this content!
Yeah, I mean, most of it's still going to be there, but like, I think they're going to realize that Warmind brought a lot of great things to the table, even though we've been saying it every week.
Every single week.
Because I wasn't sure if Destiny was going to be like my main game, going forward up until Warmind. So Warmind brought me back around and showed that they could make the changes that the players were looking for. So
yeah. I mean, I'll give Arlo this one. The Taken King did more for the game than Warmind did. But once again, that's because Taken King was aimed more towards the casual crowd than Warmind was. Anything where you include more people at a base level, because Destiny 2 showed us this wasn't necessarily the case, does better for the game. If you attract a better fan base, or a bigger fan base, it's obviously gonna make the game bigger because they're the same thing.
Go ahead. I hate to say what I'm about to say.
Don't say it, Jay-Z.
But I hate to say this, but I think, oh man, this is bad, because I was so disappointed with the grind after level 30 in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
But I think that they accomplished what they were planning to do. Like, they got their money up front to fund these expansions for the hardcore players, and that's
you think that's it? Do you think they went into it saying we? Well, I don't think so.
I think that that the story was obviously much better. I think they went in making a better experience, user experience, everything like that.
Yeah.
But I think that they wanted to make it so accessible to everybody, and they did. And then they got their money from the players that they play the game to completion, and then maybe play a little bit of afterwards, and then they put it down, and that helped fund these expansions.
So I get what you're saying. So maybe that's not what they planned, but it worked out like that.
Yes,
and it is working out. Because I don't, especially with seeing like how passionate a lot of these developers are at the game. I can't see them, and especially like with their personal quotes that they have already gone on record and say, "Yeah, we messed up. We recognize that now." Yeah, I can't see them any of them scheming, being like, let's get as much money as possible.
I don't think that was the plan, but I think it worked out though.
It worked out very well.
Yeah. The plan is obviously, when you make a game, is you want as many people playing it as possible, regardless. But I think that it worked out to where they're like, oh, let's make it accessible for everybody, and everybody will enjoy it. And then the outcry came, and they're like, oh crap, that's not what we want. That's not and. Right. I think they didn't even enjoy playing the end game as much as they would have liked, because I mean, you can't foresee that far into the game, like people playing that quickly and getting through the content that quickly, to where you're like, oh man, there's nothing to do other than the weekly stuff. So yeah, I think it was unintentional, but it worked out very well for getting a fan base and getting the funding for future DLCs.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'm really excited to do it. I feel like Bungie gets painted in a very negative light for that type of stuff. I mean, we never even talked about this. So I got the Fighting Lion ornament. And what they did, because it was bugged, they returned everyone's money, and if you bought it, you still got the freaking ornament. So they gave it away for free. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's not the Bungie that people know. But you don't see these YouTubers Bungie's the greatest, that type of thing. It really, really aggravates me.
Well, I also think the bigger that you are, the more criticism you're going to get. From
absolutely. And criticism always hits harder than praise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you have a higher fan base, you're going to have more people disappointed when they don't get their expectations met. And so a smaller developer that is more fan, I'm not saying Bungie's not fan, because I think they're very fan oriented, especially for a big publisher.
Especially after watching the Scott Taylor interview that they just did, the 113 rapid questions, they're just fans of the freaking franchise. They just want a great game to play. I absolutely agree. They're very fan oriented. If you guys haven't seen that, by the way, go freaking watch it. It is one of the best, funniest interviews I've ever seen, and there's a crap ton of information about Forsaken. It's really good. Here's something I want to address. I don't, it's from Z, so it's going to be whack because it's from Z. Taken King was only better because we felt powerful in both PvE and PvP. Right now, Destiny 2 would feel much better than Destiny 1 ever did if we just felt powerful and strong. You can kill every one of the raid bosses in under 6 seconds. I don't understand what doesn't feel strong about that.
I kind of disagree with that. I think I feel stronger now in Destiny 2 than I did.
That's exactly what I'm saying. The weapons in Destiny 2 outdamage anything that was ever in Destiny 1. The supers in Destiny 2 and Crucible are more consistent than Destiny 1 supers ever were in Crucible. I don't know how that. I think this is another nostalgic thing, because you obviously play Destiny 1 for longer. But you had more time for those things to happen. But
you got to remember, in Destiny 1, we were on our 3rd or 4th set of nerfs by this point in time, and they're buffing more than they're nerfing
Two things have been nerfed so far. I absolutely I 100 the time to kill in Crucible is a bit higher, but with that, the skill gap in Crucible right now is a lot higher.
Yes.
And then in PvE, if you brought the Icolo shotgun in Axis, he would be dead before he ever teleported. It wouldn't even be close. I just don't. I haven't heard that argument since Vanilla Destiny. If you made that argument 8 months ago, vanilla Destiny 2, I would 100% agree with you. But after all of the sandbox changes where we get our supers back, it's like 25% or 50% faster now. Everything does more damage with Warmind. We have, like I said, the highest DPS weapons of all time in the entire franchise. I 100% cannot see where anyone is coming from, and that's from guys who raid on a weekly basis. Like,
I also think that we have more options to use.
I mean, Taken King was blind perdition. No,
it was the scout rifle that you got from the Dreadnought, from the calcified fragments.
Oh, Touch of Malice. Right.
Like, if you didn't have Touch of Malice, like...
Yeah, Touch of Malice, Defiance of Yasmin was the raid. That's it. And that's not choice. But you have people 2-plating Callus with Rat Kings. You have people 3-plating Callus with Fighting Lions. Like, how do you not feel more powerful in Destiny 2? That doesn't make any sense. Like, if you try to take, like, the... let's just do something weird. What was the sidearm from House of Wolves?
The Drake's Promise.
No, the back before they added the exotic ones, just the first sidearm. Vestian Dynasty.
Vestian Dynasty, yeah.
Yeah. So if you took that into Atheon, into Oryx, you think you'd be able to beat it? Like, no.
There's no way.
You are 2-phasing raid bosses with Rat Kings.
You're tying your hands behind your back if you're taking the Vestian Dynasty in anything.
Oh man. I can't agree with that. Like I said, in vanilla Destiny 2, I would agree that you felt more powerful in Destiny 1, but right now it's just not even close. The exotics make you more powerful than you ever were. You can stack. I mean, and you have to also keep in mind in Destiny 1, buffs didn't stack. Like, you couldn't melting point and I can't even think of
you didn't have self-reloading rifts.
Yeah, exactly. Viking Funeral. Like, you couldn't do all these things on top of you. Like, a couple of them stacked, but most of them didn't. And
I think Bow and Viking Funeral did, but Melting Point and Bow didn't.
Yeah, well, but Bow still doesn't. Bow's just weird, though.
Yeah.
But in Destiny 2, like, if you have an Empowering Rift, you have a Melting Point. It's called something else, but I forget. And you have a Trench Barrel on your Ikelos shotgun. Everything stacks. That's not even including the raid boots energized for getting kills with energy weapons, or even, I guess, the chest for power weapons. Even.
Or you can do the arms and do the...
striking! Yeah, striking hand. Like, Destiny 2 is more of an MMO, and thus feels more powerful in Destiny 1. You have to be smarter about it. But you are definitely more powerful in Destiny 2 than you ever were in Destiny 1.
Well, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, but Destiny 1, you were super powerful, then they nerfed everything, and then they gradually built up the power up into Age of Triumph, where you felt powerful again. This one is gradually, like, you already feel more powerful than you did in Destiny 1, and exactly. we're not even done, you know, and because they have to outdo themselves with these guns for you to even want to use them. So
right.
It's gonna be. I'm super pumped to see, like, what kind of ideas that they come up with, you know, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, even if you just look at, like, the exotic armor balances, or the exotic the Graviton Lance. I dare any of you to look at me in the face and tell me that rework would have happened in Destiny 1, because you're fucking wrong. It never would have happened. It would have been left exactly the way it was, and they would have been like, keep it in your vault.
Nobody would have used it. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. In Destiny 1, in Destiny 1, it was, this is the level we want you at. If you're above that, it's wrong, and we're gonna take 12 months to fix it. Looking at you, clever dragon. In Destiny 2, it's like, if you're below this line, you know, we're gonna fix you as quickly as possible. And yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how you can make that argument. And Arlo is getting on to me. So he says, look at it this way: every expansion or new game should be more fun than previous release, because it should just add to it. I disagree that an expansion or new game should just add to something. It should evolve on it. It should be something. You can't just say just add on it. He said it's not good enough if we can't all agree it's better. Well, that's obviously not true, because everyone has different opinions. So I think I get what you're saying, but it should not just add to something. It should make it. I mean, if you look at the jump from vanilla Destiny to Taken King, that's a pretty big change, right? But if you look at a change from vanilla Destiny 2 to where we are now, it is an entirely different sandbox, a different game. It's dominated by different things.
Yeah.
It's not just adding, it is evolving. It is completely changing. It is making a new experience. You're not just adding to experiences you already have, which is what I respect.
Well, just the concept of Masterworks changed everything. And like if they're talking about this evolving mod system, and it's anything like a traditional mod system for guns and armor, it's gonna be great. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm
so
trying
not to get my hopes up for it because I don't want to be let down like I was with the original mod system.
I think it'll be. I mean, you said the same thing about the Catalyst system, and that turned out freaking awesome. Like, I think at this point, with the leadership that we have in charge, that they have proved themselves time and time again. I mean, Christopher Barrett in charge of the live team, Scott Taylor in charge of the expansion. I forget the other guy's name. I'm so sorry because he's awesome as well. Steve Cotton. Like they have done nothing but just kicked ass every expansion they've done. Like I'm done. You know, next time we get a Luke Smith expansion, you know, the guy's great and that kind of stuff. But people can be skeptical. But with the team that we have running Destiny 2 right now, I don't think there's any reason to be, because they have never failed, ever. So I don't know. Yeah, you still named your This Week at Bungie stream after a Destiny 1 weapon. That's because the last word was freaking awesome, okay? It was that gun was powerful. That was the Graviton Lance of Destiny 1.
Yeah, where you can aim down sights and get a 110 headshot every once in a while. Yeah.
Freaking, yeah, hopefully with Forsaken. I have faith, Bungie. I have faith. I believe in you. Bring it back!
And hopefully bows are like useful. Like even adding.
Everyone that's used them so far makes them sound amazing. They seem like high risk, high reward type of, you know, high skill gap weapons. I'm very interested in it. I'll be using them a lot just to mess around. I can't imagine they'll be super powerful in like raids and stuff. I feel like just a lack of ammo and it's kind of like the Fighting Lion thing. So this is obviously a Crucible argument, but it still fits. The Fighting Lion has a lot of potential to do a lot of damage, but you pretty much eliminate any prospect of team shotting because it's short bursts of high damage. And bows are going to be very similar to that. And if you take... Go ahead.
I think you could make the opposite argument that the Fighting Lion is the ultimate team shotting weapon, because you could start your initial push with the team with the Fighting Lion.
You have to... The thing is, though, like, if you miss a burst with a pulse rifle, you can readjust. If you miss, like, same thing, high risk, high reward, like I just said for bows. If you're having an off day, you sneeze or something, I don't know your life. Like, that's a detriment to your team. Absolutely a detriment. If you're not there when they need you to be, it's a detriment. Whereas with something like the Graviton Lance, if you're looking right and you shoot it, guess what? You don't have to reload before you look left and shoot. Whereas with the Graviton Lance, you do. I think the bows are going to be very similar. I think in solo activities, bows are going to be pretty good. But in higher end activities where everyone is relying on you to do very consistent DPS, I don't necessarily think bows are going to be the best option for that. Once again, that's just from the gameplay I've seen and from what we've heard about bows. I think they will be extremely satisfying to use, but I think they'll be more like sidearms, where if I'm running a solo patrol or story mission or something, I'll throw on a sidearm. I don't care. I'll have fun. I think bows are going to be like that, but I don't necessarily think that the strategy, like everyone in Chaos is going to be like, all right, put on the Trinity Ghoul, which is the new exotic bow. I don't see people being like, all right, everyone has to have this because it's just amazing DPS. Whereas like something like auto rifles, super consistent. You know, they do essentially the same amount of damage, but they do more, but they're just more consistent, and you can fuck up more, and it's still fine. I think bows are going to be very similar.
I do think that bows can have a place as like, because you know, normally with our raid team we have like dedicated ad clearing people, dedicated people that run, you know, the objective things, stuff like that. So like they can make a bow where it like spreads arrows out and like shoots in like a line of arrows, and that could be like a good ad clearing like
Yeah,
weapon.
no, I absolutely. I mean, it's kind of like hand cannons, right? Hand cannons are sort of like the same thing. It's the same reason I don't like using them too much, because they do have they're more like medium bursts of medium damage, but it's the same thing. Like, you know, if you are a higher skilled, like I don't yell at you guys for using a Midnight Coup or something, or a DFA or a Better Devils in a raid, because I'm like, they've got it. They're higher skilled. They can control it. I know they've got my back regardless, right? It's one of those things, like, if we went into a raid and Killer was like, I feel like using a bow or the Sweet Business or whatever, right? And I mean, of course, we'll be able to manage with it. I just don't think it's the smartest move. I think something like, I personally will always take something like a Radrix's. That's kind of unfair because of the perk, but just hang in with me. Versus a Midnight Coup, even though they both have top tier perks, just because if I miss with the Radrix's, I can recover easier, and it's just more consistent. I think bows are going to be like that. Like, obviously, they've done a fantastic job in Destiny of everything being viable. Like I said, you can 3-plate Callus with the Fighting Lion. Everything in the game is viable at this point. Maybe not swords in PvE. But I don't doubt that bows will be usable. I just don't think they'll be the smartest end game activity.
Oh no, especially
option.
for boss fights.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's not an exotic and it's not taking up that slot, and you just want to use it for ad clearing. Like I said, if you can shoot like a spread of arrows that, like, so you could hit multiple enemies at once.
So the Trinity Ghouls exotic perk, I believe, it does shoot 3 arrows at a time. I believe it shoots 3. Yeah.
Okay, good. But it's an exotic, so you're sacrificing, you know, that for something else. So yeah, it's gonna be tough to justify. Hey, I'm gonna use this bow over
over like a sleeper or something. Yeah. I guess it makes it easier because bows, most of them use kinetic ammo, so you're not gonna be really replacing anything too important. I mean, Midnight Coup, Radrix is whatever. As long as it's good, it's good. And especially when you have heavy weapons like the Ikelos shotgun that do that much damage, I don't think you'll have to worry too much. It's like, obviously, if a bow took heavy ammo, it's like, okay, what are we doing here? But
well, here's also hoping they have a higher crit multiplier than, say, like
they absolutely better. I mean, it better be like 4 or 5 times.
Because then it'll be like a super high end. Like, if you're really good, then you can actually do the best, like, killing of like normal enemies if you can just headshot. You know, that type
exactly. I think it'd be really cool if you had like a head seeker on a bow, something like that. I think that would be really cool.
Well, plus with a bow, like, technically you don't have to really reload because you're just putting another arrow in. So like your ammo is your ammo. Like,
can you imagine like an outlaw on a bow where you restring it faster?
Yeah.
Just like do. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So like, yeah, because that's interesting because, you know, normally you have, say, a hand cannon, you have 9 in the chamber or 9 in the mag. And once you shoot those 9, you go through a 2-second reloading animation.
Right.
Yeah, so with the bow, you literally have infinite ammo as long as you keep picking up ammo bricks, and you don't have to reload. So
that's a really good point. So it might be a little bit more consistent than I'm giving it credit for. It'll be also really interesting to see how they balance that, because generally things that shoot slower have less ammo. Hand cannons have less ammo than auto rifles. Fighting Lion has like 8 shots, like that type of thing. How are bows going to be balanced in that? Or am I going to have 200 arrows? Am I going to be able just to shoot forever? Is it going to be like 30? Ammo economy, you're absolutely right, is going to be a huge part of that. Especially if they're going to be balancing out the no reload. I 100% agree. Yeah, but I'm excited. You know, I don't know how the hell we ended up where we did. Good discussions. See, that's why I love community discussions. It's a crazy ride. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I think here's the question. Here's the big question. So Forsaken is the quote unquote Taken King of Destiny 2. Taken King added swords. Are bows going to be better than swords were in Destiny 1?
I don't think so.
Can you imagine if there was a Raised Lighter bow? If something like along the same type of like damage, like you stand in front of a raid boss and you just like you shoot him in the junk and you get a 50 times crit multiplier, and you shoot him in the face and he's dead. Like, that'd be crazy.
See, a bow would make more sense for what the what's the Jade Rabbit perk? Like, you shoot him in the chest, then you shoot him in the head for extra.
Oh, Fate of All Fools, right? Yeah.
Like
that's a really good point too. Or consistent, maybe something like Fate of All Fools, but for all headshots. Like if you hit what's that called? Triple tap, but it for damage instead.
Yeah,
I think
like
that would
each
be
successive
really
arrow, if you hit it like a headshot, does more damage. That would make more sense too. Like, because it's like a precision weapon. So.
Right. I agree with Arlo or Jerry. Hopefully they do all 3 elemental bows. We've already seen the arc one. I agree though. I mean, so the arc one, you have to think, we've seen the Trinity Ghoul. It seems like more of a PvP exotic. So was the arc sword. Like, what are we getting? Right? If we get a void bow that shoots like discs, that'd be sick. Okay, I'm really excited. I'm very, very excited for this.
And speaking of swords, let's hope they bring swords back to prominence. Like, not like for power prominence, but like, have you ever used a sword in the last, other than Worldline?
I mean, I ragged on how bad Worldline is, and people swear up and down it does great damage, but I look at the damage and it's not so great. So
yeah, exactly.
It's
like,
good
I want to be able to, but I mean, I want to use swords again. Like, I want them to be viable. Like, because I don't run around with the sword in my power slot. It's not as fun as it was in Destiny 1. So
I agree. I think Bungie is to the point. I mean, in even the mini doc that they released, where when they were showing the supers, I think it was specifically the Chaos Arc Strider super, where he said, it's probably overpowered, but that's all right. We're embracing that. Mm-hmm. I love that mentality of Bungie, and I really hope that applies to bows. Bows have, if they feel as good as they say they do, they have a very good potential to be fan favorites. Make us a freaking powerful bow.
Yes.
And we'll be happy.
Or give it awesome perks like we just talked about. Like,
exactly.
There's so many different things you can do because it's such a precision weapon. Like, you could do so many unique things that only bows can do. Do it. Like, and they might already be doing it. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have our hands on it. So
I've got faith they'll be good. I don't see them introducing. I mean, after the sidearm fiasco of House of Wolves / Taken King, where they were useless, I don't imagine them doing that again. They fixed them in Rise of Iron a little bit too well. I think. I mean, even the grenade launcher, right, with Destiny 2, they're not incredible. I mean, in PvE they are, or in PvP they are, but grenade launchers are still a little bit lacking in PvE.
Yes.
It's something that I hope they don't do again. I want a Raze Lighter type of bow.
Grenade launchers should be a middle ground between shotguns and rockets, and they're really not.
Yeah.
In PvE right now, like they should be viable to clear crowds, and have a little bit more ammo than rockets, but not quite have the blast radius. But it's kind of it's not good other than a few grenade launchers in PvP.
Right.
Play the game and what's the exotic one?
The colony. But here's to hoping that bows are competitive and extremely viable in PvE activities. I think that'd be awesome.
Yes, I agree.
Can you imagine a raid bow? Oh man, the raid exotic better be a bow. It better be a bow. We're going to an elven city. It's gotta be a bow. It has to be made out of Ahamkara teeth. Holy shit.
I mean, who hasn't watched Lord of the Rings and wanted to be Legolas? So
exactly. Can you imagine that? So the bow, on the curve of the bow, you have Ahamkara teeth, and if the boss is an Ahamkara, excuse me, I didn't mean to make any assumptions, but that would be awesome. That would be so cool.
Yeah, or time explosion arrows. They can do so much stuff with the bow. Yeah.
Oh, explosive arrow! You get a headshot, the next one gets a little bomb on it that does more damage. Oh man, no, we better get a raid exotic bow. We better. Make it happen, Bungie. Make it happen. Yeah. All right. Well, it's been an hour and a half. What a good discussion. What a good discussion, guys. Once again. Okay, I'm going to read this one because I love this idea. Jacob says, maybe bows should get a perk that makes them more powerful with consistent headshots. I brought that up. I think that's the way to go. They already reward skillful players make it reward even more skillful players. Like, fucking genius. Alrighty, guys. Well, as always, thank each and every one of you for coming out, discussing with us today. This is some of the most exciting Destiny information that we've ever gotten. Forsaken is looking like it is going to be perfect. I cannot wait. Thank you guys for bearing with me the week that I moved. If you guys don't know, new house, woot woot. It's all out of the way now. Thank you for bearing with me. I appreciate that. Sorry that we missed the last word last week, but we were moving. But yeah, once again, you guys are freaking awesome. Thanks for joining us. If you want to keep up to date on when we do this weekly discussion show, you can follow me on Twitter at Skarrow9, or, you know, obviously just stay subscribed and that kind of stuff. We do it every Thursday, usually whenever they drop This Week at Bungie, so like 6 or 7 Eastern. And yeah, go ahead, Jay-Z, do your thing, man.
Jay-Z Basketball 25 on the Twitters. That's down below if you're right below Skarrow, so you can see it right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Right there. And,
Yep, right there.
Yep. And yeah, guys, we're going to have plenty of stuff planned and plenty more information. With Game Informer doing this crazy Forsaken coverage, we'll have tons of stuff to talk about for the rest of forever. So I'm pretty excited. Thank you guys once again for the discussion. It's been a great week. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Peace.